So one day, this 55-year-old man is in a grocery store parking lot when suddenly, bang, he gets shot. He's unalived. The next day, bang, a guy is shot while he's mowing the lawn. Then, bang, a cab driver is shot while pumping gas. Then, bang, a woman at a post office is shot. Then, bang, another woman at a gas station. And then later that night, bang, an older man who's just walking along on the sidewalk. Now, after all these random shootings, the police chief of Montgomery County, Maryland, this guy, Moose is like, well, these shootings, they gotta be connected. But unfortunately, police, they have no real leads. And then the next day, bang, another woman is shot while she's loading bags into her car. Luckily, this woman survives. And Moose and the rest of the police are like, what the fuck? Because none of the victims fit the same profile. It's like none of the victims are connected. Then, a few days later, a 13-year-old kid is getting out of his aunt's car to go to school, and bang, he gets shot. And when police investigate the scene where the kid got shot, they find a tarot card with a message written on it. Call me God. And while police are investigating that, bang, another person gets unalived while they're pumping gas. And at this point, Moose, he's stressed out over this. It seems like no one in the area is safe. And police are doing everything they can. They're working with the FBI, they've set up a tip line to see if anyone has any information, but nothing seems to help. And by this point, the word of these shootings has hit national news, and the information has spread, and the people in the DC area are all freaked out, and people are staying indoors, and the schools in the area are on lockdown, like they won't even let kids go out for recess. And over the next few days, 3 more people are shot. Bang, 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 and only one of them survives. However, this time, police are able to recover the bullet from inside that survivor's chest, which confirms all the shootings are connected to the same firearm, meaning they were done by the same person. They also find a ransom note in the woods near one of the shootings. And in this note, this mysterious shooter is referring to himself as some kind of god once again. And he's now demanding $10 million, or he'll keep unaliving people. Then, a few days later, bang, the shooter unalives a bus driver about to start his shift. So the shootings haven't stopped, and it doesn't look like this guy is ever gonna get caught. Until Moose, he's still working hard on this case. And in that ransom note they found, the killer mentions that he had once tried to contact police via the tip line they set up. And Moose is like, wait, he called the tip line? So police look into this, and yeah, it's true. Someone did call the tip line. But this caller claimed to be involved with an earlier liquor store robbery and shooting all the way over in Alabama. I guess police had assumed it was an unrelated crime because Alabama is so many states away from where they are in the DC area. So they look into this robbery that happened in Alabama, and it turns out the robber had accidentally left a fingerprint at the scene. So then who is this mysterious shooter? Well, it all starts with this guy, John Mohammed. And one day, John Mohammed is traveling and he's in Antigua and he meets this kid, Malvo. Malvo's 14. And John Mohammed becomes like a father to Malvo, and they continue this relationship for years. So 3 years later, they end up in the US, in Washington State. And John Mohammed is 41 now, and Malvo is 17. And John Mohammed, he's kind of an angry dude. Like, he's just mad about a lot of shit. Particularly, he's mad about his ex-wife. And he also knows how to use a pew-pew. So he starts telling Malvo about this secret mission he wants him to be a part of, and he starts training him and like teaching him how to use weapons and how to withstand an interrogation if he ever gets caught and stuff like that. And eventually, John Mohammed gives Malvo his first task. He's like, first, you need to unalive my ex-wife's friend's niece. So then Malvo goes and he knocks on the niece's door, and when she answers, bang, he shoots her right in the face. Then, a few weeks later, John Mohammed and Malvo, they take off on a road trip across the US. And they make their way south and then east, and John Mohammed keeps giving Malvo new targets as they zigzag across state lines. And these targets are just random people, and Malvo shoots them all. Then, they eventually end up in the DC, Maryland area. And while they're there, they buy a car, a blue Chevy Caprice. And this Caprice has a hole cut in it just above the trunk, like this right here. Now this hole allows them to hide in the trunk and shoot people through that hole without anyone seeing them. So then, in this DC, Maryland area, they go on this shooting spree. And they unalive a bunch of people and no one knows who they are until the FBI gets a hold of that one fingerprint from the liquor store robbery in Alabama. And then they run that print through their system and boom, there's a match. That fingerprint is Malvo's, who they pretty quickly link to John Muhammad. So finally, they know who they're looking for. Not a lone shooter, but a duo of shooters. So then they link John Muhammad to his car, the blue Chevy Caprice, and they put out this info all over the media that they're looking for this particular car. Then a few days later, in the late hours of the AM, they get a tip about the car and they find the Caprice parked at a rest stop with John Muhammad and Malvo asleep inside. So after almost a month of terror, bam, police arrest John Muhammad. Here's his mugshot. And then bam, they arrest Malvo. Here's his mugshot. And Malvo gets life in prison, and John Muhammad gets the death penalty, and eventually, he's executed. And a big shout out to Leonardo.ai for sponsoring this video. If you want to make really cool art for your videos, like this, or like this, or like this, sign up for Leonardo.ai or follow the link pinned at the top of the comments, assuming this platform allows me to pin comments.